Finally. Rock and roll.
What'd you do?
I don't know.
You really need a new hat.
You like that hat? It's really not faded that bad. It's
A little faded.
We don't see you. Or Brady.
I see you.
Yeah, we're seeing you. You're coming in slowly. Where you at, Brady? In your garage?
Yeah.
You got a little tackle there behind you?
Had to get away just a little bit. I had to get away from kids. If not, you get shot with a Nerf gun.
Yeah. I've got Castle Rock on the phone too. I think your service may be not good enough, Todd.
I was worried about that.
Yeah.
There's Zavala.
Brady's is not just excellent, but it's not as bad as yours.
You got me?
Yeah.
Because I usually have like
Because I usually have
one
like
bar in here for some
I only have one bar in here for some
reason. I
reason.
have two.
That's
I
what
have
your problem is. You may have to step outside.
Now I can see. Can you see us?
Nope, we can see the curtains behind the couch.
Yeah.
y'all
So
are at
why,
Rayburn? Y'all are at Rayburn? Oh, there it goes.
so what do we do about that?
I don't know.
Good. There it
That's
goes.
kind of getting better. There we go.
There we go.
If I could have me and Brady. Oh, how about that?
That's the I'm
Got
good to do
to
this.
place youth on here today too. This is my nephew Gus.
Hey, Gus.
He fishes college fishing. So he's a little stud.
Sooner fan, fishes for Oklahoma.
Oh, bless his heart.
I
Yeah.
am a Sooners fan. Yeah.
This is part of the family I try to get away from. I tried to find the appropriate T-shirt to wear tonight. You know, like maybe an Arch Manning jersey, something like that. You know?
Dude,
He's
I
gonna
saw
say-
that yesterday, and I was like, man. And that's all I've been watching on YouTube for the last 2 days since he did that. is
Highlight
his-
reels.
Yeah, highlight reels. Yeah. A lot of people talking trash on them, but dude, you can't talk trash on that family. They've earned that. You know what I mean? And there's not much of a pedigree better than that. It's kind of scary what Texas is doing, but here's the thing, dude.
Oh, here we go.
I do feel like it's different this time. It may be a little bit different, but Texas is always working towards a national championship. They're in the playoffs every year in June, and by July, they win the national title every dang year in college football.
That and the Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
Yes, the Cowboys win the Super Bowl about August, right after Longhorns won the national championship in July, you know. But you're still 5-7. You still didn't beat Kansas last year, so I'm not that worried yet.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid Kansas. How you guys doing down there?
Another OU fan talking trash from his trailer.
Yeah. How's things over there at Rayburn in Zavala, Texas?
Zavala, you gotta get it right.
Yeah, Zavala. Hey, we're about to be. So I think Zavala is the next big town in Texas to blow up because we've now got a freeway running through a 4-lane pivot split. I mean, it's big time. I mean, we're right off the side of the highway now.
I'm hoping they put in a roundabout.
Yeah, Blake just laid the stripes today. I talked to him. Blake was the guy. He's like, we finished up the stripes today. Yeah. So it's gonna blow up with 69 running through
got
it.
that little Brookshire's Brothers grocery store.
We got a Dollar Tree and a Dollar General also.
Oh wow!
You got the best breakfast burritos probably anywhere in the country.
That little donut shop.
Yes, I think
those are the two richest people in town too. The two girls that run that thing. One of them drives a Mercedes and the other one drives a BMW.
And listen. We also have the best barbecue from anywhere. Well, smoked barbecue. You can get smoked Coca-Colas. You can get smoked ice.
Marlboro smoked.
Yeah. If you just go into Coleman's, you can get everything smoked. It's all smoked. Smoked fishing lures.
That's the gas station, right? That's the gas station when you walk in there.
Whatever you buy, it smells like smoke when you whatever. for the next couple of days.
We're over here getting ready to fish a tournament on the face of the sun tomorrow. Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's going to be about 2 million degrees.
So what derby are y'all fishing at Rayburn?
The Bass Champ Shootout, 50 grand. Well, I got a skeeter, so 60 grand.
Are y'all fishing together?
Yeah. We're probably good for at least 16.
I don't know. The over and under is more like 13.
Which
So
will be
one day
good
shoot
for
out.
38th place. Yeah.
How much will it take to win that?
25 to 30.
Yeah.
It always does.
It usually doesn't take as much as what people think.
Really?
But I don't remember it taking less than 25.
No, but I don't know if it's ever taken 30.
No, I don't know about that either. I don't know if it's
Maybe once or I don't know.
Yeah. We caught them one year in this thing, I think, but most of the time we've been pretty mediocre.
Top 2, 5th, 6th. Got 25 one time.
Hallman, did all y'all's lakes finally lose their water, get back to normal levels, or y'all still?
Yeah, no, they're still a little high, but they're definitely coming back down. Dude, it was crazy there for a while. Everything was really, 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 really high, but it's starting to catch up. Dude, it was them ones where it comes up so high, everything looks good, and you can't catch a fish, you know?
I was going to say, made you want to pick that flipping stick up and just go to town.
Hey, Jason was out there on Instagram every day. It looked like flipping them up.
Yeah. Well, he's over there at 10 Killer, and he knows where to hand pick the exact spots of where to roll. It's not like you follow when it comes up 15 foot. There's a lot of vertical to a 10 Killer.
Tell everyone about your you follow BFL you fished.
It was a 2-day back-to-back because they were making up something. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity with Phoenix Boat Cooler to make some money. And that's what it was. It was like 10 foot high. So I just go over there and flip. And I don't think I even practiced at all.
No, you practiced one day. Remember you called me.
Yeah, maybe like a half a day or something. Anyway, I go out there and first little place I pull into, I flip up a 4-pounder, and I'm like, man, it's going to be good. And I go next pocket, flip up a 2.5-pounder, and I'm like, this is rolling. And I start rolling all this stuff. Yeah, there's only 2 fish I caught all day, and I wasn't even going to weigh them in. And I was like, I'm throwing back. I mean, you follow us like Rayburn. I mean, it's good. And I thought, well, them boys know I'm here. Some of my buddies, they give me a hard time if I don't at least weigh in. So I went and weighed them in, and you know how you are. You hang your head, and you don't feel good about things, and I went back to my house. I stayed by myself, and little deal come up on my phone. You getting a check for $300 and something. I was like, dude, what? It was terrible, dude. It was just fishing was bad, but anyway, it was a fun time. I hadn't been to Eufaula in a long time. I enjoy going there every time I get to go.
So is the smallmouth fishing good there anymore?
No, it's not like it was. No, that definitely died off. So I guess those fish kind of ran their cycle, and they move on, kind of like Texas college football players. I mean, after you won a national championship, they kind of go in the tank. But I mean, honestly, the smallmouth hadn't come back. Sorry, Brady, I had to throw that in.
You
there.
obviously fall down a lot.
We got like 80 people on here. I don't know that. I don't want to run this story in the ground or nothing, Brady, but I don't think a lot of them know, a lot of people here. And then obviously we're hoping this thing sticks on YouTube, knows your story. And I know you got a couple days left on the Facebook deal. So you mind running it by them?
Yeah, I'm the first angler to ever try to jump a lake's dam.
Yeah.
No, so as far as my story goes, so back on December 12th of last year, my partner and I were fishing, and we took off that morning. It was like a typical fall day. It was real clear. It was cold. It was 28 degrees. We take off, and we decided we were going to go fish the lake's dam. We're just like, it's fall. They get on rocks. We were going to go down there and fish the dam. And we were on Cedar Creek Lake. So we take off, and it's clear as a bell. There's not a cloud in the sky. There's no fog. There's no nothing. We get about 1.5 miles or so from the dam, and we hit this huge fog bank. And it's cold. I've got my I got the toboggan pulled over my eyes, and I felt it slow down, and I kind of raised up and looked around to see where we were, and I saw we were pretty close to the dam, and my partner said, man, it's getting foggy. So, he just had the boat on plane. We're going about 30, 35 or so, and I'm still sitting there with my toboggan pulled down, and the next thing I know, I heard the words, oh, shit, shit, shit. And I lift up, and when I lift up, there's the wall of the rocks of the dam, and all of a sudden I heard glass crack, and then bones crack, and then I was on the dirt, and I was thrown from the boat. My partner was able to stay in the boat, so luckily the boat went up on top of the dam enough to clear me of the rocks. I mean, it was a miracle that I didn't have any kind of head trauma or nothing, but I did break my back. I broke 2 ribs. I broke my clavicle. I compound fractured my right leg, and I shattered my left ankle. So I was care flighted to UT Tyler, or UT Health in Tyler. I spent 76 days in the hospital there. I had 4 surgeries while I was in the hospital. I'm still recovering. Most people think that I'm paralyzed. I'm not. I got really lucky there. I'm still waiting on a bone graft that I had on February 7th to heal. I'm not weight bearing on both legs. I can stand on my left leg, but we all know you can't stand on one leg and do much. So I'm waiting on my right leg to kind of heal. We had that bone graft on February 7th, and it still hasn't fully healed to where my doctor will let me go on it. So I am in a wheelchair. I've been doing rehab 3 days a week. It's been pretty extensive. It's been a lot of pain involved, but I mean, I got to count my blessings, because it was, I should be 6 feet in the dirt right now. Because I mean, there's, when you think of what, a bass boat hitting a 45-degree sledge of rocks, and the fact that I was thrown forward at the speed I was, I mean, we anticipated we'd probably hit it going 30, 35 miles an hour. And, the silly thing is I recall it all. I was never knocked unconscious. I stayed conscious all the way until we got to the hospital, and they put me in a medically induced coma for 4 days. But I mean, I stayed conscious the whole time. I had 3 surgeries in the first few days, and then I had the bone graft later on. But it's been a journey. I mean, I want my story. I've got it out there, not for by any means personal fame or anything, but I want my story to save one person. If it saves one person, it's worth it, because the guy that I was fishing with that day, he's 62, 63 years old. He's been fishing for 40 years in tournaments and in situations. And I mean, I'm 46. I've been fishing or driving a boat for 30 years. So, I mean, you got 70 plus years of experience between 2 guys. And I mean, if it can happen to us, it can happen to anybody. And it happened that fast. I mean, it was, like I always tell people, my life changed in 3 seconds. And I mean, that's 3 seconds I want back. But I mean, it's, I gotta think about it in the sense of, when I'm in rehab, I look around that room and I see people that are double amputees or single amputees, or people that have had stroke, or people that are paralyzed. And that's when I look and go, I don't have it that bad. I'm lucky to be here, because it was, it was a horrendous wreck. And I got extremely lucky. I had angels on pushing me over that thing that day. I don't know, call it divine intervention or what, but I mean, someone was on my side looking out for me that day for sure.
You got a Facebook fun page, right? That's good for like 2 more days. Is that correct?
So whenever I woke up in the hospital, there were several friends of mine that had started I had a GoFundMe account, and then they had done a benefit tournament for me at Lake Tawakoni back in February. But there were some, Russell here's my boss, and I'm an 18-year veteran of the fishing industry. So when you're in the fishing industry, most people don't know, the fishing industry is like a big family. I mean, everybody's got each other's back. And it didn't take long, a few days, whenever I woke up, out of my coma, to hear that, there'd been a lot of large donations and guide trips and stuff. I mean, Jason Christie's got a guide trip, Mike McClellan, Luke Palmer, Daryl Gleason. There's some trips to Mexico that were donated. I mean, a lot of stuff just to kind of benefit my family from a standpoint of medical bills. And we started an online auction that's been running 5 weeks. It's got 1 more week left, and it's 32auction.com/buildbackbrady.com. And you can get on there, and it's got all the it's a live bid. It runs through June 30th. And like I say, there's some fantastic stuff on there. I mean, I would challenge anybody to find a list of auction items that were as strong as that. I mean, I'm extremely blessed, extremely fortunate. I mean, hell, Jason Christie at a guide trip. I mean, that's big time to get, this year's classic winner and one Chickamauga event. You got Mike McClellan. There's some really good guide trips in there. Plus you've got a trip to Mexico. There's Humminbird Mega Lives, Raptors, Ultrexes. I mean, I'm blessed to have a lot of industry friends for sure.
I'll put a link down below too on the replay. So if you guys want the link to the auction, it'll be on there. I'll be able to post that after this thing goes up. Yeah, Brady's been a friend with all of us. Like he said, he worked with Russell. And honestly, when I thought of you tonight to bring you on, it wasn't really just to tell your story. But once you were here, I was like, hey, this is a great opportunity to do it. I really kind of just wanted to be on here like buddies. Like Brady would call me and he would be fishing like these. I'd be driving across country going to a tournament or somewhere. And the one day in particular that I remember specifically, you were crushing them. Do you remember that? I mean, literally crushing them. And he's
like 2 6s on the phone with you.
He's like, oh my God, weren't you throwing like a topwater?
I was throwing a spook.
And I'm driving down the highway and he's like, good God, that one just crushed it. And he sets a hook and I can hear this fish splashing, over the speakerphone on my truck while I'm driving. And he's like, oh my God, it's bigger than what I even think. And he's like lifting it, and he's like, and they're by themselves, an independent tournament. And he's like, this thing's like a 6. It's over 6. Anyway, and it wasn't 10 minutes later, we're talking about something else. And he goes, oh my God, I got another one. I think it's another giant. Another one over 6. Anyway, he had a
to preface that, the actual day was Texas OU weekend. So you called to talk trash. But it wasn't 8 o'clock and you were called to talk trash as you were driving, I think, to the stadium. And that's what you weren't just calling to check to see how I was doing or the weather report. You were calling to talk smack.
Hey, Brady, I can't believe he actually would call you like that because I'm surprised he wasn't. So, like, every once in a while, I'll call him, like, when we're traveling and stuff, and he won't answer. I know he's driving. Like, he's ignoring me, and I can tell it. And I'm like, what are you doing? I can't tell you how many times he'll be watching an old, like, the game he already knows. He already knows what happened. Like, it's a rerun, and he's watching, and it's not even OU playing. It was Texas. They got beat. He had already watched the game. He was watching the rerun because he was enjoying it so much to watch Texas get beat. He wouldn't even answer the phone. And I was going, dude, you got some issues.
Well, you're talking about a dude that skipped a trip to the Amazon last year to watch an OU game.
That's true.
Yeah.
But no, hey, Bradley, back on that wreck real quick. I mean, one thing like I said, the reason I want to get my story out is because of this dude sitting right here. I was his high school captain through high school fishing, and I mean, I taught him how to run a boat. But there's a bunch of them out there that aren't getting taught that, and then they go on to do exactly what he's doing, and they fish for college. Daddy buys them a boat. Now they're set loose. They've never encountered anything like that, and my story needs to save guys like this because, if it can happen to us, it can happen to anybody. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I want every high school kid or every college kid out there, when it's foggy, don't bitch about fog delays because I never will again. I hope I see a fog delay again. But I mean, to me, fog is more dangerous than wind. You see events postponed for wind all the time, but I mean, when you're blind on the water, I mean, a lot of bad stuff can happen, and it
quick.
It
3 seconds.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Brady, all that was real surreal for me. Obviously, they talked a little bit about our relationship and how long we go back. But when I heard about it on that morning, one of the first people I called was my mom. And I told my mom, I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on. I just called Val. Brady's being airlifted to the hospital, some kind of bad wreck at Cedar Creek. And my mom just stops right there. And she says, hey, isn't that where you got ran over? And, we hadn't really talked much about that, Brady, but I don't know if you remember, Wes and I were fishing the Angler's Choice Championship, and it was a foggy morning in October. and we were in front of Log Cabin, and you know how that place is set up. There's not a breakwater. There's not really anything. It's just an open bay. So Wes and I pulled up there. It's the second day of the tournament. We're really excited. We're in second place. They're giving away 2 boats. You know, we're just fired up because we're thinking, hey, man, we're going to go out here and win us a boat. I was living in North Texas then. I'd put some time in over there, felt really good about, you know, what we were going to do. And we stopped because everybody's parked on the bank, and you know how the lake was low. So you know how hard it is to get off the bank, and you know how flat it is there in Log Cabin. So we stopped out there, I don't know, say 40 yards in front of the ramp, and we're just sitting there, and it's foggy morning, and somebody comes running in there, and they lost their depth perception because all those, you know how it is too at night. You got all those red and green lights on the bank, and it's hard to tell how far away they are. Well, they lost their perception of really where they were. I hear the guy coming. Wes is kind of half asleep sitting there in the passenger seat. I jump up and start waving at this guy. Hey. And I realize, oh my God, it doesn't matter. He can't stop. He don't have brakes for this. I dove out, slapped Wes in the head, dove out. He dove out, and the guy ran right over our boat and totaled it. And we jumped in the lake, and that's what kept us. But that was the first thing my mom said. She's like, what is it with that place? Isn't that where you got ran over? And so anytime, you know, anything foggy happens, everybody in our families are like super hypersensitive now. They're like, man, I wish you wouldn't even fish or don't even go today, you know?
Yep. Kind of like the story of, you know, McClellan hitting Kelly Power. You know, I've talked to McClellan several times about it. You know, I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, not trying to put a damper on anything tonight, but I mean, I just want, you know, I want my story. As, you know, as bad as I've spent the last 6 months, I want that to save somebody, you know, because
I've always been an advocate for the seat belts. I told them that 10, 15 years ago that if we just had lap belts, like you don't have to have a full harness racing, but just something to keep our ass in the seat, because especially now with all the cameras that everybody's got rolling and all the boat wrecks that we see, man, 99% of the boats are still sitting on their bottom. You know what I mean? They're not flipped upside down. And but you know,
it would have helped me in.
Yeah, it would have kept you in the seat. Yeah, it would have helped you.
Because Scott, he had a single console boat. I wish I had a picture of his steering wheel, but you know how you normally have a steering wheel and you got a hub. When he, you know, of course, he saw it coming more than I did, so he had more time to hold on to something. But when we impacted, he completely pushed that steering wheel forward to where the hub was on the outside and the wheel was on the inside. And he hit his face and he broke his jaw like right here. Like, you know, we didn't have to be wired shut or anything, but he broke his jaw right here. So pretty much all he had was a big bad bloody nose. But I mean, he took that steering wheel and completely turned it inside out. And I mean, that's, you know, if I'd have had a seatbelt, I'm sure I'd have had an injury, but I might not be in the position I'm in right now. But, you know, I made a lot of progress and it's continuing. I mean, it's just slow. I tell everybody all the time, I feel like I've been fishing a weightless Senko for 6 months. I'm ready to crank something now, you know. It's just slow. I'm ready for, you know, I'm ready for some significant increases, you know.
Well, I will tell you this from my perspective, you're better off than I anticipated at this time. I mean, I know that doesn't make you feel any better, but when this all happened, I was thinking, my gosh, I mean, I don't know what this means for him and how long. And just the fact that, you know, I was worried the whole time about what happened to you internally, or did you have any head injuries, you know, in the beginning, because I just didn't see an outcome where you didn't have a head injury. I mean, when I'm thinking about, oh my God, did they hit the dam? I'm thinking the whole time, I mean, gosh, there's no way you can't have a head injury. And the way it happened, I mean, like you said, you definitely had some hands on you that day, because the fact that you could hit those rocks is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, when I went forward, I mean, my right knee hit the head of the trolling motor, which broke it completely off the boat. And then we anticipate that's what spun me. And my left ankle hit the graphs on the boat, which shattered my left ankle. But then it sent me like 2 overhead spins. And get this, I landed flat on my back like a sack of potatoes, but I landed not in rock. I landed in pig root, where like feral hogs had been rooting around. I mean, it was like chewed up soil. And I mean, that may have been, I broke my back, don't get me wrong, but that may have been what, you know, saved me from having a bad head injury or nothing, anything like that. Because I mean, I remember hitting the ground. And when I hit the ground, I instantly felt pain in my back, but like it knocked the wind out of me. And I remember, taking a couple deep breaths and then feeling like my back just felt different. I mean, I've had back injuries before in my life, and it just had a different, like a flat, dull feel, and it hurt. And when Scott got on me that morning, he said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I said, "Man, I think I broke my back." And he said, "Why?" And I said, my back hurts bad. And he said, "Well, don't look at your left leg." And I said, "Well, why?" And he said, "Well, it's not looking the right direction." And I didn't even know about my right leg at the time because I kind of was numb from the waist down. So when the first EMS crew got there, of course, the first thing they do is start cutting clothes off of you, putting the neck brace, back brace, all that stuff on you. And when they cut my right leg, then they saw the bone sticking up with blood everywhere. And, they thought I had severed that femoral artery. And that's when they made the decision to care flight me. Because I didn't know this, but they said that 70% of people that have a femur break like I did tear that femoral artery. So I got really lucky that I didn't do that. I did lose a lot of blood. Like when I got to the hospital, I had to have 3 units of blood.
Tell them about what I found. You talk about all this stuff. Tell them about the guy that saw it happen and just who he was. Like how else does that happen? This guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
a friend of mine was fishing there that same day, and his name is Danny Ramsey. He's a Trinidad Fire Department fireman, and he was out there fishing. Well, when he heard about, you got the page, of an EMS rescue or whatever, and he saw that it was on the dam, so he comes down there. Well, then he sees, hell, wait a minute, I know this guy. So he gets up there and he starts calling everybody he knows, because behind the dam is owned by, like, I think it was Texas Parks and Wildlife or something. So there's like a big gate, and they needed to get the of course, the ambulance back there to me. And he made calls, and like they rammed the gate to get the gate down to get me out. And, he knew exactly who to call. So that sped up the process. I think from the accident to the time I was at the hospital was only 38 minutes. And, that was unheard of, really. So, I mean, I got so lucky that day. I had a lot of angels among me. One of the things that I kind of, that you can call this spiritual or whatever, but, last year I lost a bunch of friends to either COVID or something else. I lost a friend of mine, Keith Glasby, to a massive heart attack, just retired. Mark Pack died of COVID. Had several other friends die of COVID. And I mean, it's just hard to believe that like one of them guys wasn't behind me that day. Mark Pack's wife would come to see me in the hospital. And, I told her that several times. I'm like, Mark had his hands on me. I had someone lift me above that dam. I guarantee you, because it wasn't it wasn't luck. I can assure you that.
That's a hard story to follow.
Yeah. It could happen to anybody too.
So, hey, I can break this up a little bit and make it a little bit lighter. We got a Hallman's fishing story with Brady. So I lived in North Texas for 5 or 6 or 7 years, something like that. I guess 7 years. And that's how I got to know Brady. So we started, he was working for Kellogg's at the time, and I started kind of recruiting him to come to work for Sunbelt, our sales agency. And he was a pro staffer for us and did a lot of stuff for us up there. So he and I started fishing a few tournaments together. And people that know Brady will know kind of where they're very, very particular. Everything on his boat is exactly right. His truck is always clean. There's never a thing out of, not to the extreme maybe that you see Thrift with his rods and reels and all that stuff. But I mean, this guy's particular about everything. And I remember one morning, I hate to fish out of somebody else's boat. So I'm like, hey, man, we're taking my boat. So it's Lake Tawakoni. I'm like, you can run the trolling motor on stuff. I don't know how it lays out. I mean, he's way more familiar and knows every inch of that place. But we take off that morning, and I had just won a tournament somewhere else, and it was my trolling motor, I guess the armature was going out in it, and every morning when you'd start, it just sound like a rattle trap down there for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then it'd quit.
Like we put the
boat in. I step on the trolling motor, and he's like, hey, what's wrong? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh my God, this thing's coming apart. I said, oh no, it'll quit. It'll quit in like 15 or 20 minutes. He's like, hey man, it's only like 30 minutes to my house. I can go back and get my boat right now. I mean, we can't fish like this. I was like, hey man, they don't care. It was doing this last weekend. They don't care. And he couldn't get over that. And so I don't know, next time we take his boat. So he had this little spot, and it's almost always good for a big one. So we're all excited about this. We pull up there, and I throw out there, and I'm like, oh, I got one, dude, big one. Well, he gets the net, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, hey, this isn't a bass. I don't know what I got. So I got like about a 20-pound German carp in the back. So he's already thrown out there. When he sees this is a German carp, he just picks his rod back up and starts cranking. Well, as soon as it hits the bottom, he's got like a 5-pounder. Well, I've got this 20-pound German carp on here to deal with, and I'm about to have to net this 5-pounder for him. So I just get it to the boat, grab it, put it in the net, sling the net over, throw it down on the bottom of the boat. It's wintertime. It's cold, and I got on boots. And so this thing's flopping everywhere. He's hung in the net. He's got the bait on one side of him. I just raised my foot up and just, absolutely demolished this.
Mule kicked it.
So I tear the net off.
The ball went under my console.
So I net his fish, and I'm all excited. I throw it in the bottom of the boat. He doesn't even care about this 5 or 6 pounder he just caught. He looks over there, and he's like, oh, my God, what'd you do to my boat? So the next 20 minutes, he can't fish. He's down there cleaning the blood out of his boat and the fish parts. I mean, there's no fishing going on for Brady. And I'm like, don't worry about that. Let's go. He could care less about the 6-pounder he just got.
I'm talking about he donkey stomped that carp and sent his eye under my console, and there's like a pool of blood in my floor, which I just by God cleaned. I just shampooed my carpet, and he's like, "Oh well, it'll come up.
I'm gonna get to some of these live feeds. Upshaw's been on here. I sent him an invite. I texted him. He ain't texted me back, but he was on the comments earlier on when we started. Maybe he was just passing through on YouTube.
Yeah, I can't see any comments.
I thought you'd be able to read them. I don't know why I thought that.
You ready?
I can't see it.
So I'll read them to you. I'll go through some of these. I'll let you know some folks that are on here. Academic Mailbox is on here.
Oh, yeah.
He's been talking about the junction in Dublin in 2005 that he went through in a car. And we got this guy, he's a fan of ours, and he's from Ireland. And he's something else, man. He's got some information. I got into a history lesson with him one night. Not on the Irish history either, on Oklahoma history and Native Americans that lived here and how they got here. I mean, this dude lives in Ireland. It's pretty impressive.
It is season. It's incredible.
Yeah. Raj Bass is on here again. He's always watching us. And then so one of the guys on here asked, they want to know about what do fishermen do as far as insurance, like pro fishermen. And,
we like that's our boat deal, or like
I think they were talking about like health insurance because he's listening to Brady's story and he said, "What you guys do?"
Well, Brady's employed.
Yeah, but Brady's employed.
You're employed.
Did y'all have health insurance through your firm?
We don't. We're less than 10 people, so we don't fall into the Obamacare deal, and it's so expensive. Luckily, most of our guys, maybe have some arrangement. I do Blue Cross and Blue Shield as a personal plan, but it's absolutely not very economical. But I think Brady's wife is in healthcare, so he's able to join with her, and that's been. I don't know the details on that, but I mean, they have. I know my niece is also a nurse, and their healthcare is really good. So. Brady has health care through his wife, but like in our company, we do not have a company plan to answer your question. So everybody's got some kind of arrangement, whether it be through their spouse that works or they're doing a private plan, because it's just, even with everything that's happened as far as legislation on that, it hasn't made it any more economical. Like if we were doing it, as a company, we've all kind of voted like, hey, pay me my full paycheck. Let's don't start taking stuff out for healthcare and try to make that make sense, because it's so expensive that their other options are better.
I think as far as pro fishermen go, they're just doing it like everybody else in life. If you're an independent contractor or, you're self-employed, you're doing basically what Russell's doing. You're trying to figure out a plan if maybe your spouse has something that she can
that question may be along the lines of what kind of coverage do we have to carry in a tournament, though, for an accident like this too, because I know, if you fish any pro-ams, they require a minimum of $300,000 liability. But in Brady's situation, which I'm sure that's what his partner had, is a minimum of that, if maybe some more, hopefully. But that's like, hey, maybe that covers the care flight. Because when you start talking about 76 days in the hospital and a care flight, bone grafts, broken backs, broken ribs, broken legs, shattered ankles, and all those kind of things, that's a drop in the bucket, because 76 days in the hospital is almost catastrophic.
I mean, we're probably at like 1.7 mil as far as my. I mean, I had 3 trauma surgeries, care flight, 76 days in the hospital. I mean, my rehab on my inpatient rehab alone was like $1,800 a day, and I spent 8 weeks there.
So you like a real $1 million man?
Yeah,
a real one. You remember that TV show? Wasn't there a TV show, The $1 Million Man?
Well, we keep saying he's going to be bionic when this is over.
Right.
Yeah, the Bionic Man.
Yeah.
So we used to have, like, I know Russell, me, Brady too. We all used to have Rangers, and I know they used to make us carry, like, everyone else was 300,000. Ranger used to make us carry $1 million. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is like when you say $1 million versus 300,000, when it comes to paying that policy, it's not $50 difference.
Well, here's the funny part. When I
have one of those umbrella liabilities.
Yeah. So when I was from Legend to Ranger, and they made me do that, I remember Spank made me do that, and I was like, I was like scared. I was like, oh, this is gonna. Thanks for telling me at the end of the deal, not the beginning of the deal.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, here, do it out of this company. I called him up. I'm still with them because it was the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
It was the cheapest insurance I had, and it was the most coverage. And I'm like, I'm still with them right now.
Yeah, it's not that much. I mean,
no, it's nothing.
Yeah, he did. He said health insurance. That's what he was asking about. I thought that's what he was after, Curtis. That's what he was asking about.
Well, I from my point of view, like since I was never employed ever, it was always through my wife. I just was always covered by her. Doing college, I used to just wing it. You know what I'm saying? Just hope I got lucky for years. That was what my dad thought was smart. He never carried insurance. He could just carry liability on everything, going, hey, just don't wreck your truck. But no, not up until a couple of years ago, working with Strike King, do I finally have my own insurance. Like now, then she always said, as soon as I got that insurance, boy, she put all the kids on my stuff. It instantly went to me. She couldn't wait to get rid of all that.
Now, when you get like the sniffles, you go and get checked out and all that, or you used to be like, I'll be all right in about 10 days.
No, I actually did go to the dermatologist for the first time in like probably 20 years. I was like, they're going to have a field day with me, but it was actually all right.
There's a guy, Raj Bass, is on here talking about he really likes your new video series, Todd.
Man, I'm working hard on that one. That one was, I like it. It's probably been the most enjoyable thing I've done on YouTube ever.
Has Todd ever done anything you didn't like?
Yeah, probably.
Todd? Did something I haven't liked?
No.
I haven't liked.
I was teasing about his ego.
Oh.
I said, has Todd ever done anything you didn't like?
Yeah, probably. But I've enjoyed this one. This one's been pretty. Like Hallman and me today. Like he called me up talking to me about it, and I had this whole thing because I'm doing them. I'm like
it's deep, man. It is.
I'm doing them. Yeah, I'm doing them in order. So like, I just did episode 3. I dropped it yesterday, and I did episode 4. Like I shot it today, and it was really like I was on the phone with Hallman, and Hallman was telling me all this stuff, and I hung up. I was like, I gotta go. And I literally made the video as soon as we hung up because like he kind of put me in a different place to do it. So I appreciate that. But yeah, it's I don't know how long it's gonna last.
You got them.
I think it's like that show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. Like I never really watched that show, but it was based on a 24-hour period, right? It was 24 episodes.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this is in a sense of like, it's not every hour, obviously, but what I'm saying is it's just broken up, and it's just however long it goes, it's going to go.
Brady, can you see Todd talking for 28 episodes?
28, maybe 300. Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
What's different about what you used to do?
Nothing.
Do you still, hey, Hallman, do you still do that series where you go and get your ass kicked by high school kids?
No, I hadn't done that in a while. That was fun series. I like that series. That's a good one. I have gotten beat by a couple of them.
But you always take them like you're late,
Huh?
right? You always take them like you're lake. Like you don't take them like to the ground.
Usually I was in parts of the country and they go to their lake usually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you always took them that little lake right there in Oklahoma City.
No, I got beat on that lake, Hefner. I did by high school kids.
Hey, I thought he was going to go. You still do that series? You just get beat up in the opens, and that was even way worse than what I was expecting. I like that.
No, I had one kid, Sean. We went to Hefner and he beat me pretty bad, but he caught him on the riprap on the dam, and he front ended me. He like put the boat just like right on it, and I didn't say anything because like we're filming it, but I got thinking later after that show was over, I was like, I ain't letting another one do that. Like he's got to at least give me a fair shot to fish.
Why, man? That's what y'all do. That's what I don't do.
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Co-anglers.
I agree, and I tried to overcome it, but it's not clear water; it's muddy. So
I don't.
fish is
I don't.
right
Hey,
on
by
the
the
rock.
way, co-anglers. I might front end you from time to time, I guess, but I ain't never front ended no one on no dam, no riprap, no bridge, because I'm not from North Texas or Oklahoma. We know how to fish other things and dams and ripraps and rock and brit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Anyone from North Texas, I mean, they go straight to a stupid, but they live on boat ramps and dams.
In bridges.
Rob
Burns, we're calling you
Rob
out.
Burns, Brady. I mean, all
I don't have his hair. He looks like Poseidon.
No, he's freaking.
He looks like the Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski. Big Lebowski and Casper.
Yeah.
His brother.
Yeah. Powder. I like to call him Powder.
Yeah. Because he just lotions that he lotions that suntan lotion. I mean, just you look at me, you can't even see his eyebrows or nothing. It's just all suntan lotion all over his face.
He's the only guy I know that'll wear shorts when it's like 48 degrees for the high. And he's
he's talking about his brother though. He's not talking about Mike, not Rob.
Rob,
I don't think Rob even wears sunscreen.
No,
Rob wears a pair of shorts and a hoodie.
He pulls his hair over his face.
Rob just pours champagne on his skin and it just blocks the sun. The best story ever. So
the ringer.
This is so good. So we're fishing the well, shoot, it couldn't have worked out any better. Andrew won this event.
Oh, are you talking about the Toyota Series Championship?
The Toyota
Rob's
Series...
like, hey, if I'd have showed up for one day of practice, Andrew wouldn't have had a chance.
Yeah. So
who said that? Burns said that.
He didn't even practice.
Yeah.
He just drove there. He's like, I don't know. I just started driving down the lake till it looked like Texoma, and I started fishing.
So listen,
that
championship on Cumberland, like the first day it was nice and everything. Well, it was nice for the first 10 minutes down the river. And then this monsoon, I got this thing on camera too of this like weird tornado spout running through the thing as I'm like driving through it. But you remember it got cold that day. Remember that? And then the next day it was horribly cold. So I remember driving down that stupid river and like I'm passing it, we're just like this, right? We're just going and there's one boat over here I'm passing and it's just cold. Everyone's just bundled up. You can't see nothing. And I look over and it's just Rob Burns and no cover, like a long sleeve shirt on. And he's driving and he's got that gray hair. And it's just blowing back like this. He's driving about 60 just down and everyone's bundled up. And he's just like, this is great weather. He was like loving it. He thought it was like the best thing ever. And I was like, and he probably had shorts on that day.
Yeah, I used to travel with Rob all the time for the Toyotas. And if it was maybe 30 or higher, he's like, what are you doing and all that stuff? I'm wearing shorts tomorrow. He said, and then if it get below 30, he's like, well, might put the long sleeve pants on tomorrow.
The long sleeve pants.
Welcome
Remember
in,
that time-
Upshaw.
Is he? Listen, I don't know what he's.
Audio's not working.
I can't hear him. I can't tell if he's playing like
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite or what he's doing.
Somebody left a comment. But Andrew looks like he's 22 and playing video games.
He is. I guarantee he's got his video game playing at the. I knew it. I knew it.
There he is.
That's probably what's wrong with his audio too.
What is that? Is that Super Mario or something?
Mario Kart.
Are you there? We still don't have your
Brady,
audio.
kick Andrew off if we can't hear him.
It says you're muted, dude.
No,
I don't have him muted.
How about now?
He does this thing every
Oh
day.
yeah, now we're working. Yeah.
No, my audio's not working, so I'm gonna have to take it out.
No,
He
you're
did-
good now. What?
he
You
did-
were working.
you gotta get off that gaming side first.
Yeah, he was losing. He was losing. He had to get off real quick. Some little 14-year-old was calling him out. What other comments we got?
All right. So other comments. Elbert wanted to know about Watts Bar. I guess over there in Tennessee, he was asking me if I thought that there was something wrong with the lake. I guess Van Dam and some other big comments about how the place was dying because there wasn't any fish in it. But I don't think so. I think it's just like all the other lakes across the nation. I think it's just on a down cycle, and it's not, it didn't produce in the spring. They didn't catch big bags over there, and it's doing the same thing in the summer and
All the
fall.
other lakes in the country are just on a downward spiral.
No, I mean how they cycle. Just like when Rayburn goes down, everybody's like, "Oh God," that's because there's no grass and all our fish are dying. And then 3 years later, boom, they explode again. The only one that doesn't seem to come back is Amistad.
I will say some of the fish that I saw on live in that event, they look like they've been filleted and put back on. I mean,
Yeah,
they were.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like this
skinny.
skinny.
Scott Clark, there's some people on here bragging on Upshaw's latest video, and I don't know where he went. And they were asking Andrew questions, and he's
Had to
cut
log
in.
off with Schoolboy 14 first, real quick.
Yeah.
On this.
There's some Bud Light and Coors Light comments going on here. I told everybody on the email when I invited everybody tonight, it was a BYOB. I cooked that dinner and I took a picture. So if you guys don't know, but I made fajitas tonight, and my wife's out of town, and it's just me and the 3 little kids. And man, I made this beautiful skillet of skirt meat, steak, and all the vegetables, the onions and peppers and everything. They didn't eat a damn bit of it. That's the bad part of being a cook in the house with a bunch of little kids. Like,
Yep.
I don't know why I go to the trouble. I should just go get 3 hot dogs, put them in the microwave, shut the door, and when it dings, go get it. Because that's all they want is that and ketchup.
Or cheese.
They would drink
quesadilla.
ketchup. Put ketchup in a cup and put a hot dog right in the middle of it. They just
Mine can live off cheese quesadillas. That's all they ever want.
cheese quesadillas.
Yep.
Yeah, mac and cheese quesadillas. My kids will eat hamburgers pretty good, but one wants it plain with cheese, the other one wants it plain with ketchup, which isn't plain, but that's the way she orders it.
Mine think ranch dressing's a food group. You go somewhere like Chick-fil-A, and they'll open the little deal of ranch and just start eating it. And I'm like, no,
Man.
that's a condiment. They're like, what do you mean? I mean, they'll eat it like it's part of their food.
Mine's gonna be 22 in 2 weeks. Her food group's White Claw.
Yeah.
White Claw and another White Claw.
Right.
I was on the phone with Russell, and she was in the truck or something, and she was talking about, well, Dad, I'm gonna go talking about Russell. Like, Dad, I think I'm going to Tennessee for this Nashville, and then I'm gonna come back and go to the river, and then the weekend after that I'm gonna go that, and I'm like I was just listening to all this going because mine's 10, and I was going, all right, Carson. Well, hey, you gonna make a bunch of bad decisions? She's like, plan on it. I was like, oh, that was a joke, Carson.
That's a Russell comment right there.
Use that classic training.
Yeah.
Because I'm making plenty bad decisions. Look who I hired.
Yeah.
Are you coming back?
I don't know.
There's got questions on here. People want to know about the John
No.
Fox Mayfly deal.
Tell him he's live so he doesn't say anything stupid.
All right.
You
Well,
are live. Yeah, we can all hear you.
Okay.
See, you were working right when you disconnected it. He
Hung up on
me. That must be one hell of a video game he plays. Because when we travel across the country, like I'm exhausted. We get in from practice, get something to eat, you come back to the room, it's like 9:30 at night, and I'm just like crawling in bed after I get out of the shower. And I'm out like that. And as soon as I turn out the light and like roll over, I'll hear that game get plugged in and the little noise start going on. And I'm like, and I'll wake up at like midnight, 1 a.m. He'll be in there doing it. And I'm like, he ain't getting up in the morning to go to practice. And I'll get up.
He carries the unit and everything with him, like the.
Oh yeah, if you're in a hotel room with just 2 beds, he'll play that sucker all night long.
this. So when we traveled with Scott and them, it was usually me and Hallman cooking, and then every once in a while, Billy would help cook and everything, and Scott would every once in a while too. But man, you'd have Colt. And you'd have his son Jake, and I mean, they brought their you look up and they'd have one whole room, and it would be all wired up TV. I mean, they hung around and played that thing the whole time. I mean, it was.
So one of our favorite people, Academic Mailbox, wanted to know, Andrew, what was the thing about John Cox and the Mayfly hatch?
So John Cox mentioned on the second or third day he was going down the bank at Pickwick. And he hadn't caught anything. And I think it was the second day. And he pulls up to this one tree, and it's loaded with mayflies. We've all done it before. And he literally caught 20-something pounds under one tree.
No.
With a general?
We have not all caught 20 pounds under one tree with mayflies. That is not normal. We've
we've seen trees that are loaded with mayflies.
Yeah.
I'm just
and
saying,
we've caught
20 pounds out of that one
tree.
tree.
We've caught one fish under that tree. We don't John Cox it up with 20.
No, but he caught 20 pounds under one one bush, basically.
I like his deal this week when he was put that deal out there about, hey man, I've been catching all my fish all year long on these 3 lures. I don't think I've caught one deeper than 4 feet. He's like, all I need is these 3 lures to cover the whole water depth. He's like, 0 to 4.
It's funny you say that. He actually said that he broke it at the James River and caught his deepest fish of the year, which is crazy. He caught it at the James River, and that was in about 8 foot of water off a piling.
Tell when we were at Grand. You remember when we were at Grand? And I think I caught him. I think I was in the second episode.
Yeah, both of y'all caught him.
But Cox caught him, I think, in the back of duck, right? But he was catching them on a crankbait, and he never thrown it.
He was throwing. He told me he caught it on 30-pound braid, and he'd borrowed 2 crankbaits from Tom Reddington, and that's what he used on 30-pound braid.
Reddington told me that story. He's like, Cox is over there digging around in my boat, going, "Hey man, I never really fished a crankbait before, but I'm kind of liking this. I need some of them square bills."
And then he turned around and won Rayburn on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He only throws one crankbait. He literally throws a fritz side. That's all he ever throws.
Yeah, he just throws one that goes 4 foot or less.
Yeah. He won't throw a square bill. He throws one crankbait. He literally has one box of fritz sides, and that's all he throws.
Well, in that same interview, they were talking about everybody using forward-facing sonar and all that, and he's like, yeah, I got that. And I turned it on one time last year, and he said, all the fish I saw were running from me, so it freaked me out, and I just turned it off, and I haven't turned it back on since.
He still runs a 4-track trolling motor, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a simpleton.
Why does he need spot locking? If he's in 4 foot of water, he just drops his power poles.
True.
So.
Yeah, but so I don't know if Thrift is still running 4 tracks, but Thrift was running 4 tracks for
not anymore. He switched it finally, but he made a big post about it. Like he ran it all the way up until this past year.
I still jack with him every once in a while. Like something will pop up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm over here just stomping on smallmouth. You remember when he was?
What are y'all up to tonight? Val and I watched y'all a little bit earlier, and then we started playing Mario Kart with Kane, and then Hallman told me I better come and get on here.
Well, I tell you, we can't see any comments. So if you comment, the only one that can see him is Hallman, and
yes, you can. All you gotta do is get on when you log into there, look on the right side, and don't look at private chat. Look at comments.
Yep.
I don't see anything like that.
I don't know why it's so difficult for you, Todd.
Well, sometimes it's just difficult if you're Tad.
Oh, I see it now.
Got it.
Oh my God, I can't believe it worked.
Hey, I can explain that to y'all. Todd likes to see his face on there big, and you got to put it on there
Oh,
small.
he zoomed in on his own
Hey,
face.
no, it was like this much when we first started. It wouldn't show any of us. It just showed because we had.
It only showed Todd's head. It's all.
All we had was Joey here, and Joey was just. It was just Joey.
It was bad in the beginning, Andrew, because like we were all three behind stage on studio, and I couldn't figure out how to get any of us on, not even myself. And I was like, how does this thing work? And it may not work. We may get off here. I'm praying, fingers crossed, that YouTube keeps it. But
oh no, it should, unless Todd says something bad or something, I guess.
I don't think anything bad.
Yeah, there's some really good comments on there.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys on here. There's a lot of them asking me about BTL. I'm not doing BTL every single day, every week. It ain't happening.
It kind of sounds like you are.
Why? Last week or this week, I was in studio this week, and it was the first time I've been there in like 6 months.
You've done more than that.
No, you need
I mean, in studio. I've done a couple for my house, but I haven't been on. I mean, since the beginning of the fishing year in January, I bet I haven't been on 4 times.
Hallman, somebody wants to know if you went to Port A lately.
I have not. Andrew's been to Port A without me. Andrew went down there and filmed a show.
2 shows.
Texas Riviera.
No,
yeah,
it wasn't bad. Oh, fishing was terrible, but I had a good time at least.
What is it with that TV show thing? Anywhere you go, it's any of us to go shoot a show. It's like you're just jinxed with that Let's Fish TV. Like you can't go catch a fish.
It's hard. And they always say the worst conditions ever happen whenever you got to go film a video. So I absolutely believe
it happened to me. I know that.
Val says that she just goes out there and it's our fault because all she needs is a drop shot and she'd catch anything we get out there on. So
kind of like your Amazon video where you went and just lumberjacked wood for 2.5 hours before you got to make a cast.
Pretty much. Yep, that was
that's a sore subject. You see him take a big breath right there?
He called me when they got home and he goes, Hallman, be glad you stayed home for that OU football game and didn't go.
I heard y'all talking about OU, by the way. That's one point I wanted to bring up. Todd said that he calls Hallman and he ignores him when he's watching reruns, and that is true though. Like Hallman will ignore you if he's watching or listening to reruns of the
He is subscribed to like these weird underground YouTube whatever people. Like if you talk OU for like 30 seconds in anything, he is subscribed to you and listens to these weird underground.
And I trolled the Texas channels. So just like right before we went on live tonight, I was on one of these 2 guys. You know, and Texas fans are just peeing themselves right now. You know, and you know they're talking about how they're going to win the national title for the next 4 years in a row once these 2 quarterbacks come up, and how great they're going to be with their offensive linemen, and how the NIL is going to open up Texas because they got more money than God and everybody else in the country, including Alabama, and they're going to beat everybody. And so I just one little comment, and it was a live deal just like this because I was kind of wanting to see how their live was working, and I just put Kansas. That's all I put. Kansas.
I mean, they do realize that Manning's going to transfer out in like 1 year anyway, right? Because that's just the trend of college football these days.
Not when you're getting paid.
Yeah, but
I don't know how the year's kid's going to work out. But I got a feeling this deal right here with the offensive line and the players that they got last year's recruits, and then they got this class coming in with him. I think Texas has got it. I think they got the ship turned in the right direction. Now, they got a long ways to go, yeah, but you can straighten it pretty quick.
Receivers, tight ends, and running backs that are going to come now just to play with him.
Well, your running back left and went and committed to Cincinnati this week.
Hey, Val, I don't know what that's about. Say she went Ohio State. Just wanted you to know that, Hallman.
Well, they recruit better than Oklahoma and Texas put together, so. They do. I mean, it's the bottom line. It's them and Alabama and Georgia.
Hey, but no, Alabama felt the heat whenever he started calling out old Jimbo.
Yeah. That was a good stuff.
And he was cheating. That's bad when Nick Saban's calling people out for cheating.
Yeah, Cecil's team over there, they had the best recruiting class of the century. And dude, I saw that. Did you see that? There was a tweet that went out or a deal on Instagram. It was the all-time record of Texas. It was on Father's Day. It was to thank your daddy. And the Longhorns were up there like this, and it was like 78-18 or something. It's like the all-time record of A&M against Texas. Texas
I don't know, man. I'm not a
it's
big
embarrassing, the number, dude. I didn't realize Texas had that big a lead on A&M.
I didn't either. And I don't think it's been the last 20 years probably hadn't been like that, but they don't play anymore.
Come here.
I guess they'll start again though, huh?
Yeah, you're going to start again. That's for sure. Whether you like it or not. Yeah, it's going to start happening.
Around the country is like, we don't care about OU or Texas.
No, I know. That's actually what they're commenting right now. Y'all are sick about football down there.
I'm not. I care less about it. I hope they all get beat. I want them all to get beat because I think it's funny.
Tony Green said he was Johnny Coxon on this morning on the Lake of the Ozarks.
There's Todd.
Todd wants to know Elbert wants to know, Todd, how's your fantasy team?
Just beating up on Matt Panger all the time.
Just beating up on him.
It's so bad. I'm gonna have to try to tank here in a little bit. The only reason Matt's even doing halfway good, the only reason he's doing any good is because he keeps on picking Jason Christie out of spite for me. If I had never made him so mad about picking Jason Christie all year long, he would be doing horrible. But
I only picked Jason once all year long, and it was right after class, and he finished dead last at Santa Cooper.
No, so he just so Panger's like the craziest. Like, it's insane that the numbers he comes up with, like the studying he does for this thing. And I'm over here trying to figure out my password to even get on fantasy, like right as we're doing it. And half the time I'm trying to figure out even how to pick people. But he's done all this stuff, and he got so mad at me. I can't even remember why he got mad, but he got mad at me, and he's like, I'm picking Jason Christie out of spite for you. And he's killing it because of that. Other than that, he'd be doing horrible, Matt. I'm just letting Matt know. I think I'm beating him again.
Oh, you're beating him.
Huh?
You're beating him.
I don't even know how to look that stat up. I just know I'm doing good, and he's not. And it's funny.
Well, if he was beating you, he'd be talking trash to you right now.
Well, some guy keeps sharing it. Some guy in that hooked fit or whatever, and he's I don't know why I don't know why that guy keeps sharing it. And I think it's funny because it keeps on putting us in ranking, and I keep on ahead of him with all that.
Oh, look! You can add posts when people are bragging on you. Look at that. I think that Brian Post, that shout out, I think that was I think he made the top 10.
That was the guy throwing the wacky rig by you in the mouth of that little creek.
And another guy just whipping my ass. Just had to sit and watch an ass whooping.
And if you were smart, you should have never said that and just post all the ones that are good about you. Right?
Just start doing it.
Oh, and you're the man, and post that one. You know what I mean? Hey, Castledine, you suck. Oh, look, I found another comment. Just post that one up there.
This thing got so great. I didn't know we could do this. That is great.
Hey, just to say, Brian Post, I met him, I guess it was last year, and he and his wife travel around, fish all the opens. I think they fish every one of them. And he is one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet, truly.
So he's slightly crazy like y'all two.
No, yeah.
If you're fishing all the opens, you're a little bit
off your rocker.
Yeah.
We agree. No, Brian was he was on a sweet set of trees that I'd had probably my biggest bite off of in practice, and there wasn't but about 8 of them. And when I got in there in the morning, I'd started somewhere else. He had already started working on them. He caught a couple, and we passed and fished around and talked a little bit amongst each other. And then towards the end of the day or whatever, I saw him, and he had a big bag, and I told him, I said, I won't come back tomorrow. I'm gonna let you have it. So I didn't catch him out there. It's just one of them deals. So I just had to move on and let the man have it. Because like I say, there wasn't but about 8 trees that were really – there's really only about 5 that were really the sweet ones, the ones furthest out. But anyway, it's a great finish for him.
What are you and Hallman going to do tomorrow?
What?
What are you and Hallman going to do tomorrow?
Tomorrow doing what?
I'm saying, what are you doing tomorrow?
What am I doing tomorrow?
Yeah, about 3 o'clock, go outside and feel how hot it is and think about the fact that me and Todd are going to be out there on Rayburn cooking our brains.
No, I'm very happy. Actually, I have a movie scheduled to go watch. I'm going to go watch the new Jurassic World with Kane and Val tomorrow about 1:30. And so, yeah. So
What do you-
whenever y'all are doing that,
Jason
I'm gonna
is
just be in
terrible.
the AC, eating some popcorn.
What is she taking you to see? Top Gun?
No, we already watched that.
Go see Iceman and blink as he's at the volleyball net and his eyelashes
Oh,
implants.
nice.
When we got home, she was like, "Hey, can you take your shirt off and go play some volleyball?" And just like, but no, actually,
He's like,
she's never asked me to do that.
He's like, no, I don't have any ACLs left, and I can't jump. And Scott
Dude,
Martin,
okay,
and
I
Scott
almost
Martin beat,
posted-
hey, and Scott Martin beat me in a race in freaking with his boots on. You remember
Well,
that
I
Hallman,
almost
in the
posted
rain?
I don't think Scott beat him. I think didn't Andrew win?
I won.
I don't know.
It's fine.
It was close. I didn't think it was going to be close. I thought Andrew was going to
Hey,
smoke him.
let me tell you this. I don't know what I did to my knee the last couple of days, but I've had to have it wrapped and iced and everything. I've been struggling on that leg. And of course it's right before I leave to go to Oneida. So it is what it is though.
You see, they just caught the potential state record smallmouth out of there. Or it was Cayuga? My bad.
Yeah.
All right, here's y'all a question. Russell Cecil, answer that one right there. Can you read it?
Which one? Oh, there you go.
The one I put on the screen.
Well, hey, I can't answer a spinnerbait question with a guy from Oklahoma on here with me.
Yeah.
Come on now.
For real.
Hallman, you got to take
Brady, answer that question.
That's the national bait of Oklahoma.
So
Brady-
I've got
Brady-
beat by
Brady-
more Oklahoma guys throwing a spinnerbait when you never should throw one.
Brady throws it. He lives up there in North Texas. He's up there in Baja, Oklahoma.
I don't throw a spinnerbait much. I really don't. I'm not a fan of them. I think they're kind of like reeling in a bread loaf. I'm a chatterbait squarebill guy.
Answer it, Hallman.
Well, I mean, if it's rolling real bad on you, your blade's too big, or you're trying to reel it too fast.
Really too fast.
Or it's
Ideal
not
behind
heavy
it,
enough.
or it's not heavy enough spinnerbait. So, like a half ounce, or bring your blade size down. But
What do you mean?
I would say that most of us, period, we're starting at half ounce. We're half.
I'm like, I've got a 3/8
spinnerbait for a Colorado blade.
Yeah, I've
That's where
never
we're starting.
even thrown a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait.
Yeah.
You won't ever see any
Yeah,
more tied on though than a tournament in Oklahoma. So that's why I kicked that one to you, Hallman. I mean,
I would think that either A, you're reeling too fast, and B, if you're still fighting it, you're probably not reeling too fast because you're probably watching it. It's your spinnerbait head's too light. That's my biggest guess.
he's talking about specifically those Christie's spinnerbaits that are that the Pradco project that he had.
Covert.
Yeah, Covert. So
I haven't thrown them, and I don't.
It's probably because he's throwing it on a 5-to-1 reel, and he's still reeling it that slow. I don't think people realize how slow he's probably reeling it.
Yeah, he is throwing it on 5-to-1.
Talking about Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so even when I go to Oklahoma and I'm fishing 2 foot or less, I'm still throwing a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait up there because I just put bigger blades on there, and I want to put bigger blades and reel it fast. But dude, I throw 3/4 ounce up the entire time I'm up there at Oklahoma.
He says he's never thrown a 3/8.
Who?
So the same guy.
I
He said he's never.
don't know what y'all are talking about though. I don't know what spinner. I think I know what.
Well, I mean,
Even that head's got Jason's got one side of that head where it like kicks out like this so that it keeps that bait more stable. But I don't know why it's rolling on him.
line size wise, I mean, you can throw anywhere between like 17 and 25. I mean, you just don't want to throw a little line. There's no reason to.
No,
So.
20 all the way. Or braid. I like it on braid a lot.
I think he's throwing it that slow.
Todd, do you even own a 6-to-1 gear ratio reel?
Do they make 6-to-1s?
Yeah.
I got the slowest reel I got is a 6/4-to-1.
Okay. I was just curious. I didn't think you
That's
did.
what I crank with. If I have a 5-to, I don't own a 5-to-1, no.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I don't think I own any 5-to-1s anymore. I just slow down. I figure I watched Thrift, when we were all at Cumberland that year that he won. And he was like, what gear ratio you throwing? He's like, I'm throwing my 8-to-1. He was like this. Do y'all remember that? He had that swim bait and he's winning and his hand's going about like this.
Hey, I want to answer that KK fishing about have you done how the hybrid came to be about? Yeah, I made a video of the year. I don't know which one it is. It's probably about a year or two ago, but I'll talk about it. There's I made a video of the entire history about it. Andrew was a part of that history. He was on the boat with me the first day that I caught a fish on it. Not the first day I threw it. First day I threw it, I thought it was the worst. I thought it was horrible. I made about 3 casts and put it up for a year. But Andrew was with me the first day I ever threw it, like back in 2000 and I don't know, 7 or 8, 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah. Long time ago.
I'll be honest. I've made a couple of them. They were probably about a year and a half to 2 years old. If you go back through it, it'll be obvious because it'll be something about a hybrid hunter or something. Like I'm saying, it'll like on the thumbnail or something. It'll have it on there.
There's one for you. Anybody up for kayak fishing? I actually have a kayak. I do it. I do it at Port A. Some. I've done it in Port A, just saltwater fishing with redfish. But I don't care anything about doing it bass fishing.
I'm waiting to hear this.
Well, I was just gonna say, my cousin and I fish a lot at home at Lake Conroe, and there's a little spot up on the north end of the lake. It's got a bunch of stumps in there, and we were in there one day in the spring this year fishing a tournament, and they were having a kayak tournament. There was a bunch of guys in there, and I haven't done much kayak fishing, so I'm sure no expert, but I was amazed how fast those guys could get around in there and how efficient they were fishing around in all those stumps and all that. Cause you're getting hung up and you're backing up with your trolling motor and I mean, these guys are just like, there was a little bit of grass and stuff in there. We were fishing around and there was a guy that kind of saw, okay, we were headed one way and he knew there was another patch of grass over to the right. And I was thinking, well, there's no way we'll fish this patch and go over there and fish that one before he ever gets to it. Dude, he zipped right over there and caught a couple of fish. I mean, I was like, gosh, dang, that thing's faster than my trolling motor on 10. But it was one of those Hobie pedal kayaks and they were getting it and they were catching the heck out of them. I think there's something to be said for that stealthiness in the shallow water and how it doesn't, displace a lot of water and all those kind of things. So
I don't think they're scared of you at all. There's no like depth finder. Right. Like if you don't have a depth finder, you don't have anything going on. I don't. It's kind of like when you load a boat at a boat ramp. Bass. If you see bass around you, like they don't care. They're used to the boats loading, and no one ever fishes right there. I mean, except for North Texas guys. But I'm saying for the most part, I think it's like that. I don't think they could care less about a kayak.
They don't care about a kayak. Reminds them of a duck.
Yeah.
They don't get scared of alligators. We've proven that.
They don't care about alligators.
No.
Brady, you know who's playing in the World Series right now, don't you? College World Series.
Dang.
He can't handle himself.
He just
Brady got out. Brady left.
I would too.
Brady left.
He's back. He just switched with Andrew.
Oh.
Brady, somebody was said there's a couple of holes on that wall you need to replenish back there behind you.
Hey, he's muted.
Hey, Hallman.
Yeah.
Answer that.
That one?
Yeah.
Beer, yeah. Thanks for hanging on YouTube. Well, thank you very much, Sean. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We always need beer money.
Yeah.
So, Todd, do y'all start tomorrow or is the
Practice.
tournament on Sunday?
No, we got practice tomorrow.
Practice tomorrow. Did y'all practice today? Was practice
No,
today?
it's off limits.
Oh, okay.
I
was going to fish, but I just figured I'd let somebody else win, so I decided not to go fishing.
Do what?
Nothing. I said I'd let somebody else win. If I fished it, me and Val would probably win it. So,
oh yeah,
just giving everybody else a chance.
I see somebody ask about have I heard anything about a slot for bass on Conroe?
Yeah,
I haven't heard that was up or that they were considering that. What I did hear is that they were going to put to a vote whether they were going to move the length limit from 16 back down to 14, but I heard that got defeated. So I'm not an expert on that, but I know there was a bunch going around last year. I guess whenever Parks and Wildlife puts out their comments and then they make their changes official in September, I believe, every year. And I know that was discussed and then that they had an open forum about it. And the consensus was to leave it at 16 inches. So it's a 16-inch minimum length, but I haven't heard anything about a slot. But that's not to say that that's not on maybe up for discussion this year. I don't know about that. So I'm not informed about that at all.
Hey, so I don't even know how. Whatever happened to fishing out of a tube and waders? So when I was real young, and of course we didn't have walking around the marina all the time when I was real young. My dad, back when I guess the tube, like I got in an inner tube in on Livingston in the marina and used to tube around out there.
I see guys. I still see guys wading in waders in the spring and fishing. Those.
Yeah, but you're not in the inner. I was in an inner tube with like the camo with like the little like you could sit in it. Dude, I smoked on them too, but it was fun. I was out there throwing Carolina rig.
It was made of foam, not inflatable. It was made of foam with like
no, it was an inner.
You sat in it.
No, it was an inner tube, but it just had like a little, like it had a little thing you could like sit, you know, like a undercarriage. Yeah, and you just sit in it, man. I used to just get out there, and my dad thought it was, you know, that's what I. Hey, it was better than walking the bank for the last 4 years, so I was like, all right, I'll try this.
All right, there's been like 5 questions about this, so I'll talk about it.
This guy here tried to convince me about this a few years ago. Hey,
well, it's true. So,
Tackle Craft, thank you for bringing this up. Thank you.
When I won Lanier, guys that are watching, I won $100,000 tour event with a $20 reel, and it was kind of funny because
hey, that's when you know you're on them too.
I've been fishing with them for about 3 years at that point, and they came from China, obviously, and just like every other reel that's made, even though they come in a different box. But I guess some are made in Korea and other places, but you get the idea.
For the Philippines.
At the time, I was buying them on eBay, and you can still go to eBay. Everybody that's watching, you can go to eBay. They're not $19.95. Well, I guess there probably are some on there, but at the time when I bought them, there were $10 reels on there, and the $20 ones were like the mid-range. And so I would just buy like $600-700 worth of them, which was a lot of dang reels. And, you know, 1 out of 10 would come out of the box and be trash. You just throw it in the trash. But, I mean, honestly, my Sunline, the line that I'm putting on the reel costs more than the reel does. But they were actually pretty good reels. And I had some of them that I could fish with for over a year and a half. And, like, they would be good. And then if one would crap out, you just throw it away and get a new one out of the box and string it up and away you'd go. But there was, you know, when you ordered them, you wouldn't just order 700 of the same reel. You would order like 2 of this kind, 2 of this kind, 2 of this kind. And you bring them in and you'd fish with them and you'd be like, one of those would be the one. And then you'd go order like $500 worth of those.
That reel right now gets you to the lake. Not back, just to the lake.
Yeah.
Like the closest lake you got, that's what that reel gets you now.
In gasoline, you mean?
Yeah.
That's probably true. But so I started talking about it on BTL years ago, and that's why these guys are all asking about it, because they've kind of gotten around that I'd use those reels, which was real funny because when I won Lanier, you know, that was back when Bass Fan and all that stuff was big. And so, you know, they call you and they're like, okay, so give us your tackle rundown, you know, and you're using Sunline line and, you know, Falcon rod. And what's your reel? Well, I don't know. It's Chinese reel. They're like, what do you mean it's Chinese? I'm like, I don't know. It's got like, what's the name of it? I said, it's got Chinese block lettering, like great big on the side of it. You know how they draw like pictures of houses? That's what was on the side of that reel. And he's like, you got to send me a picture of it. So I sent him a picture of it and they posted it on Bass Fan. It's real.
You told me that said badass Okie in Chinese.
That's what it said. Yeah, badass Okie in Chinese. But just a fair warning, everybody out there, I have tried since then to order some reels, and I spent as much as $30 on one, and they're not the same. Like they just kept getting cheaper and cheaper on their parts, and I can't find those reels. Don't stay out there. Like they just run those and they have them, and then they sell out, and then they go make something else. And so it's not like you can just go find the same one again.
Where did this come from? Like, where did you find out about? Like, no one else knows what you're talking about.
Those guys that Brady's always giving me a hard time about, us Okies and trailer houses. You know, you gotta fish on a budget, you know, and Falcon rods are $250 a piece for a good one, so we don't have much budget left for a reel.
What's Sean? Oh, man, yeah, that's different though. That's because Hallman don't cast; he flips.
Well, hey guys, I'm gonna get back on there and play some Mario Kart before my kid goes to bed. So y'all just have too much fun without me.
Dude, is Mario Kart that fun? Is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fun. We played on Nintendo Switch. Kane's really good at it. But I have one thing real quick before I get off. Kane, come here, hurry.
All right.
Hurry. All right, come here. Kane, what is your favorite football team?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Who is better, Texas or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Boomer.
Hey, Kane. I thought your favorite football was like, what are they? The Hempstead Dragonflies? What are they?
What is it? Where do you go to school?
Hemphill.
Hemphill what?
Hornets.
Hornets?
I thought they were Dragonfly. I was close, actually.
Dragonflies?
Horseflies.
What?
The Hemphill Horseflies.
The Hemphill Horseflies. That's a good one.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing at one of those schools. He keeps running track like what he's doing on the
Hey,
videos you got. Oh, dude's fast.
So it's pretty cool. We're really excited. Kane, while we're at Oneida, is going to go run in the regional track meet for TAF, which TAAF for kids. And he's running in Tyler while we're going to be at Oneida. So Val and my brother are probably
Boy, and where in Tyler? I got
John Tyler.
Oh, is it okay? Because Easton,
Yeah.
I think Easton's strength coach up there, but we're in Longview all the time. Soccer. I might have to get Michaela and him to race.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm really excited to see what he does.
That's
He's running
it.
50, the 100, and 200. So
She ain't gonna let him win. I'm just
no.
telling you.
Hey, I don't let him win, but I have to run pretty hard now to beat him.
Well,
so
Michaela's. Ooh, I don't know. I like to see that race.
it'd be a good
He's
race.
fast though. He's fast. How old is he? 7?
He's 7. Yeah, Kane's
Yeah.
7. So
Yeah, that'd be a tough one.
yeah, he raced him
He's fast.
9th grader. What was Connor? A 9th grade, right?
Yeah, I'm like 14.
Yeah, 14-year-old beat him 14-year-old, and then he beat him a 11-year-old.
When he come race me, he can beat a 47-year-old. I promise.
Hey, his mama is a sprinter from way back, and I think we're getting to the end of her being able to beat him. We're nearing it real quick.
Man, Val, that's bad. You gotta wait till I ain't letting any of my kids win until at least they're like over 16. They gotta be able to drive.
Hey, if my knee stuff still happens, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to beat him.
I'll go race Kane. I ain't letting them beat me. Not yet.
Kane rolled his eyes.
Here, Brady,
Hey,
Brady, you'll like this one right here. Check this one out, Brady. You'll like that one. That sounds like something you'd tell me.
Because can't read Chinese. Well, guys, y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all for letting me jump on hijacking y'all's stream. Brady, it's very good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you got to tell your story.
Brady,
See you, Andrew.
tell Hallman he can't read English. He's from OU.
Yeah.
He's from OU.
Good
Hey,
night,
I think
Andrew.
Brady's muted.
Yeah. Brady's muted again.
Brady, you're muted. We didn't do it to him.
Navy SEAL signals.
Try it now. Nope.
Did you
Unmute.
see that pretty skillet he showed earlier with the meat and all that, and it had the OU spatula upside down? And I said, you can't even spell OU. It said UO. You didn't tell that, could you?
I didn't even know what you meant on that.
I didn't know
just
what he
laid
meant
the
either.
spatula down. I was like, what is he
Yeah,
talking
the
about?
spatula was upside down. It said UO. And I said,
Well, if
you
I'd
can't
have
even
flipped
spell
it up, if I'd have flipped it the other way, you wouldn't have even seen it in the picture because it would have been tilted the wrong way.
That's why I said you couldn't even spell OU.
Okay. I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, what is he talking about?
3-1. Oh, that Cresco crankbase is doing this. He's reeling about this fast.
He said those Chinese horns here, those Chinese reels say hook 'em horns.
So
I
seriously,
doubt that.
how many of those reels would you order a year?
I literally, the biggest order I made, I paid $700. And like I said, they were like $25 a piece or something. So I don't know. It was a lot of reels, dude. I mean, it would come in a case. Like, who needs a damn reel sponsor? I had cases of them. It was great.
So you would literally just use them and then just throw them away when they get
Mhm.
grindy, and you just throw them away.
Just chunk them. Yeah, because like I say, my fishing line cost more than a reel did. Yeah, and they worked good. It wasn't like it was every tournament. Now 10 of them, you'd have one bad right out of the box. And then you might fish with one for a week and the handle or something would fall off. But then you'd have 8 of them that would last for a dang year. And I mean, not grinding, not anything. They were legit. Like, it worked. I mean, you think about that.
Hey, so one thing. Hey, Andrew is probably a little slow right now, but Andrew was like a pretty good athlete back in the day and really fast. Guys, if you don't know, Sean, go get on Andrew's Instagram or anything and go look through his videos. If he'll have Kane on there playing football, dude, it's bad. Like, Kane's running through, like, just it doesn't even look like these kids are trying, and Kane like blows past them. Like, that kid's fast. Yeah. So this, Sean, I'll let Russell. So where am I getting my haymaker hooks from? From Owner. I got them all before they were really ever out yet. I'll let Russell, since he reps them, he can give you the great answer. There you go.
Sold out.
Are they really?
Oh, God. Since they ever started, they've been sold out.
So
Really?
So here's the quote right here. Okay, I asked our sales manager a while back, a few weeks ago. I was like, "Hey man, when are we gonna get some more haymakers in stock?" And he said, "Let's put it this way: you'll be fishing again before we have them back in stock."
Are you serious?
Yeah, Sean, let me tell you
That's
something.
serious.
You're talking to the two guys that will know more about where these, like Brady, Russell, those, they rep them. And I mean, we all know Viet really well, but I mean, they know him really well, but they are also, they know where all these hooks are at. So they would probably could tell you, like, hey, there might be like 4 packs at some random tackle store somewhere, but they know that's not even true.
Brandon's have any, Brady?
No, not yet. We've got them on back order. I saw Tackle Warehouse had like 4 the other day or something, and that was it. I mean,
Yeah, they flew some. They flew some in
crazy.
2 weeks ago, but they were gone like immediately.
Yeah.
Do you have to, like, you don't have to pre-order them. You just have to order them and hope that when you're ordering
Yeah, I mean, the supply chain excuse is getting old, but it's still, ever since this all got started with COVID and things started slowing down. I mean, ports haven't been as fast, nothing's been as fast, and Owner's been behind all year, to be honest with you. And they are flying them in, but they fly them in, and the last shipment that they had enough back orders that they couldn't even fill all the back orders on what they got. And then Tackle Warehouse had some, and then I had some buddies of mine start, "Hey man, can I get some hooks? Can I get some hooks? Where are they?" And I was like, "Well, you better check whatever your local tackle shop is right now, or maybe get on Tackle Warehouse, because I know they just shipped some, and within 24 hours, Tackle Warehouse was sold out again, except for one size, and I guess that was 4 rods."
And I'll be honest with you, like, I'm not even. Have you thrown another hook in the last year?
He said Tackle Warehouse got some in stock this week. It's already sold out.
Yeah, I haven't thrown anything other than that. When I got them, I think last year.
So-
before we went to, you remember Hallman?
How many do the 3 of y'all have? That's my question. Do y'all have like half the nation's supply? Is that what the problem is?
I don't have as many anymore because I've been using them. I mean, dude, I put them on everything.
Get what I have. Hold on. I'll go get what I have.
He's got like 2 of them probably. I bet he's got a whole bunch of them. You watch. So one guy asked here, he said, wants to know if you've ever tried it on a tube yet. Flip the haymaker. Y'all
Yes.
flip tubes at all? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was more excited about than one of the few things I was excited about was throwing it on a tube, because I remember Phil used to ask me. It was back when we were throwing. You remember that Takes Home event? And you know how that stuff goes, where you just get on something and you just start throwing it everywhere.
Mhm.
I'd gotten on a tube for about 2 years, and I just never lost a fish on it. And I was throwing the owner's regular. What is it?
I think. Well, I don't remember if it was
Sure.
when the you're just talking about. It might have been a rigging hook. That's what I always used to throw the tube.
Yeah, well, and we were throwing it on mono or fluoro, and I just wanted to lose
3 packs. Y'all are 1/0 and 2/0?
1/0,
Yeah.
2/0, and I got 3 5/0 in a plastic
And look,
bag.
that's the
That's a sample pack.
that's a sample pack. Yeah.
That's not good.
I got quite a few
1/0,
4s.
2/0.
I'll be honest, I got quite a few 3s and 4s, but all I throw are the 5s.
Here's a question for you, Todd. Since I don't have a real sponsor, you have a real sponsor, REEL, real.
Well, I don't really know. I know how many I get. All those real sponsors and stuff. So, like, real quick with all that stuff, I still hear like the boat sponsor stuff. Let me tell you something. Someone asked me that the other day about like how many people are getting. No one's giving away $80,000 boats to too many people. You got to realize that, right? Like, it's an $80,000 deal if you get a boat for free. No,
it's Greg Hackney's and Aaron Martin's. It's the one.
Yeah, it's a 0.001% of the population. Reels, guys are getting reels a lot, but I wouldn't say I'd say most guys. There might be some guys getting unlimited, like they can just get as many as they want. They're probably not taking advantage of that. They're probably getting what they need.
Right.
Most guys. Let me tell you something. Most guys that get something, as a sponsorship, if you are allowed to get whatever you want, most of those guys are they can do that because the relationship they have with that company is really good, and they know that they're not trying to like.
Once you've been with a company for a while too, you've got quite a bit of product. So I would say the number probably averages around 15 to maybe 20 a year, and that'd be on.
I would say, I would say 20.
Yeah, that's what I'd say too.
20 is a pretty good number.
BFE colors. There are no new BFE colors that I'm aware of, but both these guys are up for Big Bite. Do y'all know of any new colors? I don't.
Well, to be honest with you, so I just saw the new product presentation for Big Bite, and it didn't include everything that was coming new colors. We're going to see all that at ICAST. So I haven't seen. When I say new product presentations, I saw what they're bringing out as far as new baits and all those kind of things. And then they're going to have some scented soft plastic to try to enhance some of their product for the smallmouth market, because it looks like, the smallmouth business has gotten to be where they're seeing some advantage in scented product there. Anybody that follows fishing knows how hot that Berkeley power bait flatworm got in the smallmouth market. So just between the pro staff guys, they wanted to work on some scent for smallmouth soft plastics, and that's something they're going to debut this year. But I haven't seen like color extensions yet, so I don't know if there's anything coming, Hallman.
All right, yeah. Brady, answer this one. What causes a hook change quicker for you, a broken line or a dull hook point?
Dull hook point.
Me too.
I know when Brady and I fished together a lot in the past, we're definitely pretty diligent about checking our crankbait hook points. And, if you're fishing anything hard, good chance you can bend one over, and we're changing hooks more often than we're breaking off, for sure.
Yeah, I would say that I probably go through more treble hooks than anything. And there's certain baits that I might go through like hooks. But I mean, you might be catching like 50 a day sometimes doing some stuff. And so, like, you get on some of our lakes down here, like there's a good chance me and Russell go catch 50. Now, we might weigh in 14 pounds Sunday, but we might catch 50. There's a good chance, like, we're going through treble hooks, once or twice a day.
This question up here is about the Megabass jerkbait and how long it was secret by the pros. I don't know about the pros, but I know a guy up in Missouri on Lake of the Ozarks, which is that's the jerkbait capital of the world, was in the beginning. His name is Marcus Sequoia. And Marcus.
I was going to say Randy Blockett.
Yeah, no, Randy probably had it longer than Marcus. If you asked Randy, he'd probably tell you about it. But Marcus was winning every tournament up there while Randy was fishing them. But Marcus had those things for, he may have been pushing close to 10 years. He was ordering them out of Japan, and he was keeping them secret. They were killing them. And he's not a quote pro. Now, he did win the All-American. I think he won the All-American that you went to, Todd, didn't he?
Yep.
Marcus is a really good fisherman.
Yep.
The other thing about that Ozark part of the world, those guys are the jerkbait. At least from my perspective, I don't know a whole lot about maybe up north and how it might compare.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm sure for you. I mean, he's always thrown a jerkbait, but as far as influence in us and where we live, we would rub up against the guys in the Ozarks a little bit more. And those guys were the jerkbait experts compared to Texas boys or anything like that, because they had a lot more cold water and a lot more clear water. You look at, Ozarks can get clear, Table Rock, of course, and Socorro was killing them up there on that thing for a long time. And then it kind of got to be an underground deal between those guides around Table Rock and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it kind of spawned a lot of other baits out of there. I mean, that was McClellan's motivation to make that mixed stick, and
yes.
And then a lot of other baits. I mean, Socorro worked with Casey at 6 Cents to make some jerk baits and make that provoke and some things like that. So it, I don't know that they'd ever replace that mega bass, but they would be like, well, I got a tool for that, but I want a jerk bait that does something a little bit different, or and that you got a couple different diving depths and everything else, and that's where a lot of that innovation came from. And then the Alabama rig comes out and everybody's like, oh my God, jerk baits are dead, and then they make the Alabama rig illegal in some pro events, and then forward facing sonar comes, and now everybody's got a jerk bait tied on every tournament, and whether it's July or December.
And what's funny about that jerkbait deal, so with that innovation deal with Strike King, I talk to, there's some things, I'll talk to certain pros about, I'll talk to Hackney about flipping, there's certain things I'll talk to certain guys about. But the jerkbait, me and Kevin will get on a lot of long conversations, and I was asking about jerkbaits, and I was just trying to get more knowledge on them. Right, why not ask the guy who might be one of the best top 5 jerkbait fishermen in the country? And I was asking about this stuff, and we got on the deep diving jerkbait. And listen, every guy out there knows what I'm about to say is a lot of times, Hallman sponsored by someone, and I'm sponsored by stuff, but we all throw what we think's the best. And I was asking him one time, Kevin, about that deep 300 Strike King makes. He goes, it's the best jerkbait. Now, I'm not saying that's his point of view. I was shocked. He goes, no, I'm telling you, everyone, there's a lot of more guys on the pro level throwing it, and they just don't talk about it. And I was like, and I'll be honest, I was like, seriously? He's like, guaranteed. And he's like, it's the best jerkbait we have. For Strike King, it's the best jerkbait they have. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, guaranteed. And now that's all I throw is that thing. But I was shocked to like I said, he didn't say it was better than that mega bass for the shallow deal, but for the deep one, he said it was by far the best. But it's funny about that jerkbait stuff about which ones, and I think LiveScope has changed it all, 100%.
LiveScope has changed it all. LiveScope's made the jerkbait a year-round bait.
Yeah.
All right. Will national fishing trails become a thing of the past if gas hits $10 a gallon?
No.
Brady?
I don't think
Russell? I don't think it'll hit $10 a gallon. So
no. Say it does. I'll say absolutely not.
If it hits $10 a gallon, it's only going to be on the West Coast and the East Coast.
It doesn't matter. No. Say it hits all the way around. It will not affect the national tours. What it will affect is every single small tournament in the country. Those will actually, they will have no one.
It's going to affect the national tours, but it's not taking a total impact.
No.
It's going to affect them, though, because.
But the small tournaments is what will affect.
I think the best example of that right now is you look at that Texas Tournament Trail Championship at Choke last week. There's 130 or 40 guys that qualified, and only 80 showed up because the majority of their membership is not close to Choke Canyon, and they started weighing. It's kind of into the season. Not that the championship. I mean, they're giving 2 boats away, so you want to go fish for it, but it's 4 hours there or 5 hours there for a lot of guys, and 5 hours back, and lodging's hard to get, and it hurt that deal big time.
We did good, and then
Todd finished 5th and lost money because not enough.
We might have broke even. If we won money, it was because of incentive money. It was not because of the check. And I'm not saying we got a bad check. They don't do the problem with those championships like that. The Toyota Championship is the best championship there is, hands down. But those championships, it's great when you give a boat away first and second, but right then and there that 3rd through whatever is gonna be bad.
Yeah, and the other thing is just local events right now are down, and people are not going as far to fish. I mean, people are still going to fish at Rayburn. People are still going to fish whatever lake's closest to their house, but they're probably not going to drive as far as they were for a while. And you're sure not going to just say, hey, man, let's load up and go to South Texas this week because it's fishing, Falcons fishing good or whatever. I mean, you're going to have to save your money and really plan around that deal and maybe make some sacrifices somewhere else. And I think we're seeing that right now for sure.
The TXTT, the last one we all fished on Rayburn, it was that was the best fishing. Don't you agree? Maybe that might have been the best fishing.
I didn't make it. I was working.
The Rayburn one?
I wasn't here.
I swore you fished it. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that was like the best fishing day of the year in our opinion. Like me and Brady, I don't know how many we call, like 70. It was ridiculous. So like fishing was great. Beautiful weather. It was awesome. It was less than 200, which I don't think a TXTT has had less than 200 forever. So I mean, it's affecting what I'll say is it's affecting those more than it's affecting the big events.
All right, what do you do whenever bass only get in the back hook of a crankbait?
Ask Russell; he's a crankbait guy.
Well, I think the consensus everybody thinks about that is you change colors or try to find something they're eating better. But I'm not really that big of I'm not really that big on that. I think about the color crankbait I'm throwing more based on the water, and I'm real simple with all that stuff, and probably more so than most people. So I might not be the greatest guy to ask, but if I'm gonna throw a deep diving crankbait, I want something bright. It's white or it's chartreuse blue, and I think it's about draw power and then being able to see it down there.
I'm with y'all, and I'm probably just going to try to play with my speeds of the crankbait, to which I'm reeling it probably.
Well, I'll ask Patrick. I'll ask Russell another question. You ask how many bass are you catching that are only getting the back hook? 20? Because that's probably not happening. If I ask Russell, he's probably going, well, okay, I had one out of the 10 I caught get on the back hook, but the other 10 choked it. You know what I'm saying? Like, chances are you're never going to have like 10 of them get the back hook.
Here's a question for you, Todd. I know we're on the same page on this one.
St. Lawrence River.
No. Well, St. Lawrence? God, we didn't when we went up there, did we?
I think you can blast them. You don't need the freaking flogger. If you're missing out, maybe you're missing out a little, but you're sure not missing out big time. The guy may not have a flogger.
So me and Russell when we fished the tour, we went to Champlain, and we were having to drive home, and it was kind of on the way to the St. Lawrence River, and my wife and his girlfriend Kathy, they flew up there, watched us weigh in. It was the last event of the year. New York was awesome. Upstate New York was awesome, and so we drove. We stayed at these cabins, man. That you could barely open the door. Am I lying? You could barely open the door, or the door would hit the bed, and you would like just walk one step in the door and then like jump on the bed. No windows. It was screened in, and we stayed at these cabins, and they were like $65 a night. They were awesome. I mean, no big deal. And we went and fished the St. Lawrence River, and I remember I put in about 5 minutes before Russell, and I idle out there, and I just go to the first little island, and I put the trolling motor down, and I swear to you, I could see 4 or 5. And I called up Russell. I said, "It's on. We're gonna smash him," and we did. Like, it was just incredible. And I got a video of it with Brittany, and she's just up there, no spinning rod, just big rod, catching 4 and 5 pounders in this beautiful water. And it was like, I wish we'd have stayed 4 or 5 days there.
Yeah, it's an incredible place, that's for sure, and one of the most scenic places I've ever been. That Alexandria Bay has all those castles in it and all that history, and you know, it's an awesome place, and it's pretty, and it's heck of a lot nicer than being where we're at right now this time of year. I can tell you that, because you want to put a hoodie on in the morning when we were there.
And I'm telling you, like, when I said there were 4 or 5 where I put the trolling motor down. I'm not joking. This is never touched the trolling motor and can see them. And then I went around the island. The island took me about a minute or 2 minutes to go around. I saw like 10 or 12. I didn't even stop on 3-pounders. And it was just insane the amount of just 4-pounders were just everywhere. There was almost no bass boats. They were all just pleasure boats going up and down the river, and it was insane. We traveled a mile or two up and down the river. That's as far as we ever went. Caught like 40 or 50.
What's up, Clay Olstein's on here. I don't know if you know him or not, Todd. It's the guy that fishes with Andrew. Andrew was on here earlier.
Clay?
Yeah, Clay Olstein. He goes to school down there in Texas. He lives there in Fort Worth.
Clay had a good draw the other day.
He's a good dude.
He had a good draw the other day when he fished the open event.
Oh.
Clay knows.
Yeah. Do y'all think that the price of boats will ever come down? I don't either. And he's talking about the manufacturer sitting on a dealership for $90,000. I think they're already there, aren't they? There's boats sitting on dealership floors for $90,000.
Not only that,
90,000 also that 90,000 also has a live scope, a 360, photographs, a power pole charge, two
Right.
power pole. I mean, people don't understand. There's 25, 30 grand in some of that stuff.
I agree.
well, the other part of it is they've changed that model. I think even dealerships in vehicles are trying to change the model. You don't see a whole bunch of them sitting on the floor. It's almost a made-to-order program now. If you go to a dealership and they got 3 or 4 boats in stock, it's almost uncommon. It's like, they might have one to show, and you go in there and you think, okay, I want to buy a boat like this, but I want it in this color, and I want these options, and okay, in 8 weeks you're going to get your boat or whatever it is. It's not. They're not sitting on tons of inventory anymore, and that also somewhat supports the fact that the dealership's not having to sit on 10 boats at $90,000 a piece or whatever.
What's this right here?
Hold on.
Isn't this what y'all are fishing right now?
Yeah, but hold on. This is what I tell everyone about what's going on in the country about like the inflation part of it. It's a small little deal, but the ice machines, right? Forever they were $150. Every once in a while you see a $175. They're almost all $2 now, which you're like, that's just a quarter. They're never going to go back down again. Right? I mean, and that's the way I look at some of this stuff. Like they figured out, hey, once we get to this, it doesn't matter how good it gets. An ice machine's not going to go, hey, everything's back to normal again. We're going to go back to $1.50 for ice. They're going to stay $2.
Speed this up, Tag, because I'm like way behind on questions.
All right.
Read that one right there. That's what
I don't even want to read that one, Kenny.
You don't? I don't know what it means. I only know what it means.
I know exactly what it means.
I know you probably do. That's why I'm asking.
No, it's because I hope they if there's a tournament trail that just kicks me out and doesn't ever let me fish again, I hope it's Bass Champs. Because if they go to the stupid Red River, I don't know how he knows we're going to the Red River.
I'm with you. I get it now.
I don't know how he knows it's going to go there again, but I can tell you that's the worst place in the world.
Okay, what about this one?
What? Wait, what? Is the next episode about BPs on a RB? Anyone? BPs.
Brush
What?
piles on.
It's your channel. I don't know.
BP? What are BP? Brush? I'm trying to figure out what BPs are on an RB.
Rayburn?
Brush? Huh? Brush
Rayburn?
piles on a Rayburn?
I don't know. So
Hold on. A BP's on
you're too long. Deep time gone. Moving on to the next question. Hey, he asked Todd, but you need to ask Russell. Russell's the one that lives on Conroe.
Yeah.
The guy that was asking about the crankbait last hook, he said he lost 5 fish in a row. They all had the back hook only. So back to your same answer. Just give him the color of freaking crankbait on Conroe.
Well, I told you I throw a white or chartreuse blue. So
You think it's a speed thing?
maybe. I mean, sounds like a bad day.
It sounds like Conroe. It sounds like he was out there on a Saturday in the summertime with 1,400 boats out there, pleasure boating around him, and it was 19-foot whitecaps out there, and the wind was blowing 1 mile an hour.
Hey, this is the thing on all that kind of stuff, man. I wish I had an answer for you that was like, hey, do this. I always think, sometime of the year I'm going to figure it out, but it seems to be never the same, and I don't think there's any absolutes in fishing.
All right, to this question, I'm going to answer it real
quick.
Hold
on. I'm going to go back. Brush piles and road beds.
Where was that?
No. BPs and RBs is the next episode. I think he was like, "Is the next episode?" No, man. Listen. I told y'all in every video, if he's talking about that, Travis, I'm telling y'all, just when y'all think y'all got it figured out, I promise you won't. I'm just telling you.
I feel like every time that's up, Brady's got to look up over the top of it.
Yeah,
I don't like that. Anyway, this is about $50 for co-anglers. $50 is enough, dude. Quit listening to guys that are complaining about how much money you're giving.
But I want to hear that, though. I kind of agree with them, though.
I do, too, but, it ain't the end of the world. I'm still going fishing.
But, I'll be honest with you, $50, I would say 40 to 50 is the average they used to pay before gas went up.
Yeah. So, make it 60. But 60, that's plenty.
I don't ever say anything, man. It's just whatever.
I don't either. I'm the same way. Yeah.
I love it when they give you a 20 and ask for change.
I've never had that happen.
I've had that happen on Amistad.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Sure have.
Did you not leave Diablo?
He handed he wanted to run all the way. It was in a Texas Federation deal, one of them deals where you have a boater and a non-boater, and he has half the day for the boat. And about 11 o'clock, he said he wanted to run we were in Evans, and he wanted to run all the way to Cow Creek. He ran all the way up there. You get back in the very back of it, and it's dirt, mud. And I said, "You caught him back in here?" And he's like, "Well, we didn't catch any," but he goes, "Man, they were sure popping in here." And I looked at him, and I said, "Popping?" So we get all the way back to the ramp, and he gave me a 20, and he goes, "Can you break a 20?" And I said, "No, I can't, man. I don't. You want rolled coins or something next?" So, yeah.
All right.
And that was. That's back when I ran an old Yamaha 225 EFI. That sucker just you could hear it going. When you're
that sucker did suck it, didn't it? Oh my God! And oil too, man.
Oh, you fed it oil and gas.
I know it. All right. How about this one? Right over. So I did see this, but I didn't think that it was a world record. I thought it was the New York State record. Am I incorrect about that?
New York State.
The world record's 10 something or 11 something. Yeah, 11 something.
That was a new state record.
We all did see it, but yeah, I thought it was a state record, not a world record.
Cayuga, I think, right?
Yeah. They want some LBJs. They got a bigger hook in it. Todd. How many more anglers move back from the BPT to the elites?
I think it's going to. I think I'll put it to you this way. Is what I've always said. You don't see any guys from the elites fishing the Toyotas to qualify for the tour, to qualify for the BPT. That's all I'm going to say. And you see plenty of guys from the BPT fishing the opens trying to qualify. So if you see any guys from the BPT fishing the opens, that's because they're trying to get back in the elites.
All right. Here's another one. Russell and Todd, are y'all planning on fishing the TTO Pro Team this year?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I think even together.
No, we're not fishing together. I kicked this guy the curb.
Yeah. I don't even know if I have a partner yet for that thing. I'll find somebody off the side of the road or something.
Yeah.
I might go solo. I was talking to somebody. I've got one guy that's on the fence about it, and I fish with him. It's gonna be fun and interesting.
All right.
That deals much as anything else.
Todd, if you get a wheelchair ramp, I'll fish with you.
I might. Let me think about that for a second. I don't have one in my truck. You can wheel up on that Skeeter though.
You had to build one.
Oh.
I saw one today, guys, and it's old. I think it's been out there forever. But Fat Cat Newton had this, the elementary desks that were one piece. It was a desk or a chair, with the built-in desk that goes on it. He had it on the back. He had it on the back of his boat because school was in session. He said, "You can sit back here and take notes."
I can put Brady back there.
Yeah.
How about that one, Todd?
That's it. This is it right here.
I
Kind of.
know. It is basically the same thing, change the name on it. So I didn't
Here's the deal. So we were trying to figure out how we could do, here's the deal with the Bass Singer Therapy. We would always want to do these more live than just do them because we love the interaction part. So we finally figured out on YouTube how to do live, and then Hallman just figured out this StreamYard deal. So I don't think we'll probably ever do another Bass Singer Therapy recorded again. It will all be live. Don't you agree, Hallman?
Yeah, I would agree.
That way we can
as long as our Wi-Fi is allowing, because
that's the only.
We're known to get in the sticks sometimes, and there ain't nothing but us and a GoPro, and that's all we can.
Well, we're in Zavala, Texas, so we're just going off our phones right now, like hotspotting, so it works.
I thought y'all had high-speed Wi-Fi there in Zavala.
No, not Zavala. We got good chicken, best chicken in town.
Brookshire Brothers. There you go.
It ain't smoked though, but it's good.
It ain't smoked. Hey Jeff, boys, I'm gonna go put two boys to bed.
All right, Brady.
Thanks
for joining us, Bubba. Appreciate you coming on.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you guys. See you.
See you.
Man, there's a bunch of stuff about LeBron.
How about that guy? Awesome.
I don't know if LeBron's going to the elites, but if it's been set up, look, anything can happen. But they're going to the Red River, and he's from over there. And then the last one's going to Rayburn. So if anyone's ever set up to qualify, it's him. But I'm not going to lie. If I was in the top 5 going into Rayburn as the last event, you wouldn't be very confident. I mean,
I've been horrible over
dude, Rayburn's a tough one to just. You see guys do good on Rayburn. No one ever pays attention to the locals who do bad, because it happens to all of us. I mean, I will say if I could have it any time, it would be in October. To be not to win, but to be consistent for me would be October. You take the brush piles out. You take a lot of things out of it.
All right. Brad Wise, doesn't Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma ever host any major bass tournaments as big as it is? There's no money around Eufaula. And what I mean by that is the Chamber of Commerce has never figured out that they could make money by spending money. They never wanted to spend it. But I will tell you this. There are major rumblings inside the industry that I've heard from 3 different tournament organizations that they're going there next year. So I don't know where the money's coming from. I've even been a little bit concerned about it, honestly, because one of them may not end up getting paid or something. But there's never been anything there. But the rumor on the street is that NPFL, Bassmaster, and MLF have some type of big event on Eufaula next year. So I've been in talks with some of the guys that are locals there that fish there a lot, like Justin Phillips and some of those guys, and they're hearing the same thing. So we're going to wait and see what happens. But it looks like 2023 could be the year for Lake Eufaula.
Hey, Hallman, I think it is going there, but it's in Alabama.
Yeah.
No, I've heard it's been Oklahoma.
No, but he's joking.
I know he's joking. I know, because that's where everything's always been.
Hey, I want to answer this question by Steve about Strike King should have named the Hybrid Hunter the Castledine crank.
Let me find it. Who put? Oh yeah, right here. Gotcha.
Okay. So I can't. So you know where I'm going with this, right?
No, I don't.
Come on, man. All right. So what did you always want to call that thing?
Oh.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. So when he started out, the Strike Pro one was called the Bubba. So him and Phil Marks are working on this thing. And I was like, dude, I got it named for y'all. And he's like, I tell Todd, and he's telling.
Just tell him the name. I'll tell the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I told him, man, y'all got to call it Cletus.
You want to call this thing Cletus?
So
why?
Because Bubba.
Because Bubba.
Cletus.
Yeah, so like he tells me this, and I'm like, that's awesome, right? So, and I don't think most people really knew Phil Marks, right? And Phil, I owe almost everything, basically everything with Strike King for me. I owe it to Phil Marks. So I'll never forget this. Phil had was dealing with cancer at the time, and I'm up there at Lake Athens with John Barnes. And I'll just never forget. I'm standing next to John Barnes, who's like 7'10". He just dwarfs me, right? I feel like I'm like with my I'm 10 years old with my little dad. I'm my dad, and he's up there in the front of the boat, and I'm next to him, and Phil's like messing around in the back of the boat, right, digging around, and John Barnes is just up there. He's just real quiet, just going along, just steady. Phil's back there talking about something. I'm talking, whatever, and I'm showing Barnes this bait that we might bring to Strike King. So this is like years before it ever even came out with Strike King. So we're fishing and stuff, and I was like, what are we going to call this thing if we come out with this? And I'm like, oh man. So I was like, oh, I got this good name, but you're not going to like it. And of course, Russell and Phil have known each other for years, right? So I was like, well, Russell told me what we should call it. And I'm like, but you're not going to like it. And y'all just got to know Phil. And of course, me and Phil's relationship was really different, but awesome. He was just like my dad, man. So I was used to him. And I knew for a fact Phil was not going to like it. He was like, but when I told him he wasn't going to like it, he didn't like that. And he went from good old Phil to like Coach Phil. You know how like Phil Marks or not Zona was like Coach Phil, like when they were fishing together. Phil Marks was lighting into Zona, right? And it flustered Zona all up. Well, I could see him just stare up at me. He's like, Buck, you don't know what. He's like, Buck, you don't know what the hell I like. And I'm like, all right, man. He got all mad at that. And so I was like, well, I was like, I'm just telling you, you're not going to like it. And he's like, hey, you don't. And he's getting mad. And I was like, all right. He wants to call it Cletus. I don't like it. I couldn't even get the name out. And Barnes is next to me. And it was just so, like, he made this big deal about it. And I was like, he wants to call it Cletus. I don't like it. And I was like, it was vintage Phil, man. And Barnes next to me just kind of grinned a little bit like, yep, I've seen this go down before.
Hallman, don't you think if the other one was called a boa, that a Cletus would have been right on?
Yeah, been close. Yeah. I could have guessed who named it, though. If you'd have named it Cletus, I'd have been like, Russell, come up with that.
So Rob Burns used to always make fun of it because he was like, man, I'll throw that out there. So Rob said, man, it'd come out there and take a peekaboo at you. And Russell's like, nah, man. Because we were throwing this so long ago, Russell would be like, nah, man, it just comes up and takes a look and sees how much further it has to go before it gets back to the boat. You might get one that kind of runs out there to the side and comes up to the top of the water. Russell's like, it's just trying to see where the boat is, how much longer it's got before it gets back there.
All right. Well, guys, that was our first live, dude. We did it. I don't know how we did it. It was kind of rough in the beginning, but we all got on here. I enjoyed having everybody on here, Brady and Russell and Andrew slipping in and out. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Ooh, look who that is. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let me get rid of this little highlighted deal right here. And let's close this show with you two fishing on Sam Rayburn. Is that camera like locked down, or can you turn it 180 degrees? There's a couple of plaques that you two have won that are sitting right on the other side.
Well,
we thought about that. We're thinking, hey, do we put some more plaques up there? Because we got boxes of them.
They're just stacked in there from what those two have won on Rayburn. So are y'all going to catch some fish on Sunday, or are y'all going to suck?
I think I can honestly say we haven't even been out there. We're going to catch fish. And we're not overly confident about that. We're going to catch them. We know, like the last time I was out there, I haven't been out there and not like smashed on a bunch of fish. Yeah. It's just Rayburn and big ones. I mean, it's just, and when I say big ones, 20 pounds is still respectable right now, but I mean, we're not going for that. I mean, we have to be looking at that 28-pound mark. Somewhere out there gives us a small chance.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Like,
I know it's hard to
think
get.
about it. You can put a 10-pounder in there with a bag and go, hey, now go catch 4 for 18.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a 4 for 18 is an awesome bag, and then try to catch the 10-pounder.
All right. Well, maybe y'all will start off tomorrow morning with 10-pounder or Sunday morning, and it'll all go a lot easier for you. But guys, let's close this down. We've been on here for 2 hours and 7 minutes. We have literally averaged like right around that 200 mark and right underneath like all night long, which is incredible. So we've had a lot of people. Thank you everybody for their feedback. Got any more comments? Please leave them. We'll get to it. Todd and I both are pretty good about going back over our comments. Andrew Upshaw's channel, Castledine's channel, my channel, and then obviously please don't forget Brady and the auction. I'll put the link below on this video.
No, the deal with Brady, there's some good stuff on there, and there's some values on there. So if you guys need something, you might want to check through there. And then if you want to take a guide trip, obviously there's some awesome guide trips on there between Elite Series pros. There's a couple trips in Oklahoma outside of that. I think there's even a snook fishing trip on there. And like Brady said, some stuff for Mexico trips. So it's a pretty impressive list. Obviously a good cause, and
hashtag
build back Brady. Yeah. So he
hashtag build back Brady. That's great.
And I think anybody that got to see him on here earlier can see he's got an infectious personality, and everybody he's worked for our company for 18 years now, and been a big part of that. And I owe him a lot as far as that stuff goes. So we're sure proud of his progress, and all of our guys are doing all they can to support him and everything like that. And the fishing community's been great, and he's just a heck of a good guy, and very unfortunate situation.
Yeah, hell of a fisherman too.
Yeah, his Facebook's really good because he's kept. I don't think he was always like that, but he's kept what day is
it's basically a diary of the.
Yeah, he's like on day 100 or something. And I won't comment on everything because like I felt like I knew it all because I watched it every day and see his progress. Hey,
they're asking right now, what was the website again?
So it's 32 auctions, but I'm going to have to make sure that I get that right because I'm pretty sure it's 32 auction is the site, and then it's Bill Back Brady / Bill Back Brady. But I'll make sure that we get that right, Hallman, and I'll get that information to you, and then you can post it up there and just make sure I don't send somebody the wrong place because I don't have that in front of me, and I want to make sure I get the detail correct.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for a successful very first launch of live, dude. Todd, I think we can make it better the next time too. So we learned a lot on this one, and we'll be moving forward. So you guys tune back in.
I'm hosting.
All right.
Hey, thanks for including me, and thanks for including Brady.
Yep, absolutely. All right, boys. Good night.
All right. See y'all guys.